Welcome to Witchy Shit by Design, the podcast where we call out old patterns, dismantle the conditioning of a patriarchal society, and reclaim the power that was never meant to be given away. I'm your host, Michaela Stone, behavior analyst, human design strategist, lifelong nomad, and professional life untangler. Here, the conversation is spicy, guided by a no bullshit, wise woman perspective that says what needs to be said. This podcast is for those who are done living under invisible rules that keep them running in ever smaller circles, and who are ready to design a life that actually feels like their own. Through solo episodes and conversations with guests who are magical by practice, magical by nature, or a powerful blend of both, we explore the many pathways to personal sovereignty. If you're ready for truth, transformation, and a little witchy wisdom along the way, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Let's dive into the witchy shit by design. Welcome to Witchy Shit by Design. Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Michaela, and as I said, this is Witchy Shit by Design, where behavior science meets human design. Dragons are always welcome, and we're far more interested in wisdom than perfection. That sounds like me, right? If you know me, it does. Today's episode wasn't planned. They usually aren't. Not in too much detail, because planning, I think, can get in the way of a good episode. But this one, it arrived. How? Well, I've been walking around the house looking at stuff. Beautiful stuff. My stuff. Things that I bought while I was living in Asia. I lived in 3 different countries over 10 years in Asia, and I bought original paintings, original statues, all kinds of things that have been beautifully crafted. And I have carried them with me diligently from country to country, even from state to state. These pieces have traveled halfway around the world with me, perhaps more. So these treasures have been collected over living in 8 countries. Not all of them have come from all 8, right? But just they're what's left after living in 8 countries. And I realized something. I'm at a point now where I don't own them anymore. They own me. Now, before anyone panics, I'm not going to talk about minimalization. I'm not talking about it now. I like beautiful things. I appreciate craftsmanship. I love objects with stories, and all of these have stories. And it isn't even about having less. What this conversation is about asking a different question. When does something stop adding to your life and start asking something from it? So I don't know if you've come across the sketch, I guess we'll call it, by George Carlin. It's not really the right word, but whatever. We'll stick with it. George Carlin had this brilliant routine, and it was about stuff. He said the reason we buy bigger houses is because we need somewhere to keep all our stuff. And then we buy more stuff because we have the room. And then we need an even bigger house. It was funny because it was true. But I think there's another layer. Sometimes the stuff isn't just taking up space in the house, it's taking up space in us. So I've moved countries more times than most people move house. As I mentioned, 8 times. 8 countries, not 8 times actually, 13 times, but 8 countries. So that's more as a single woman with kids, with dogs, with a husband, with very little, right? I've moved with all these situations happening, sometimes more than one at one time. Over the years, I developed a habit. When it was time to go, if I couldn't go with my stuff, I would go without it. Whether that was furniture, kitchen things. I left a whole load of amazing LPs for the people who are old enough to know what those are. Albums, vinyl, however you want to call it. I left an epic collection in London one time simply because I could not bring it with me. It was stay with it or bless it, leave it, and start over. And sometimes freedom matters a lot more than furniture does. This time, and yeah, there is something coming up, this time feels different. Not because I want to keep everything, quite the opposite. This time, I want to know where it goes. I want to know that these pieces that have been very loved and are authentic, they are from the country of origin, and it's the country that they're meant to be from, right? I didn't buy them in China, made in China, supposed to be Tibet. When I got it from Tibet, I got it from Tibet. And I want these things to be loved again. I want the painting that traveled with me, staring at me in every space I've been. I want that to be there for somebody else when they wake up and see the Buddha smiling at them in that enigmatic way. I mean, the Buddha's painting, this beautiful big thing that I have from Indonesia, makes the Mona Lisa smile, if there really is one, um, look less interesting somehow. I'm actually going to say that, yeah. So that Buddha has sat with me when I've been happy, and when I'm not happy, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, when I wake up overnight and can't sleep. And maybe that Buddha can be there for someone else now. So that feels right. Not because I'm losing something, but because its story continues. And I'm looking to find loving homes for things. As you know, it's just something I'm feeling right now. That's why I'm talking about it. But as a behavior analyst, let's look at this analytically for a minute. Like, so far, what is she talking about? Hang with me, we may get somewhere, who knows? But as a behavior analyst, reinforcement is a thing, right? As a human design strategist, conditioning, the stories that have us doing things and we don't even realize what we're being run by, that's interesting to me. And then as a professional life untangler, I'm interested in attachment, any kind of attachment. Not so much attachment to people in this case, but attachment to identities. Because sometimes the object isn't the object. Sometimes it's who we were when we bought it. I want you to think about that for a minute. A painting isn't necessarily just a painting. It's a 28-year-old Michaela wandering through a market in Kuala Lumpur, for example. The carving isn't just wood, it's a reminder of a conversation in Bali. That bowl isn't just ceramic and pretty, it's something to do with who I used to be. And here's the thing, I don't need the object to remember the woman. She's still here. The memories don't disappear because the object moves on. Sometimes we keep things because we're afraid we'll lose ourselves without them. But what if the self we most need to keep isn't in the object at all? What if she's already living inside us? That might sound like a no brainer, but I want you to just take a second and look around. What do you not want to be parted from? Why? What does it mean to you? And if it's something to do with your grandmother, for example, or this other person who gave it to you, why is that important? Is it because they're in it? Something to think about. So, this isn't a conversation just about possessions, it's about projects, commitments, and identities. I recently decided, like really recently, not to do another summit. Not just yet. And it wasn't because the last one wasn't wonderful or the one before. They were, both of them. It wasn't where my energy wants to go now. The podcast? Oh, yeah, you betcha. This lights me up. I am here for it and I'm choosing it and I'm going to keep choosing it. I'm also leaving a job that no longer fits. Like, as soon as I finish recording this, I'm going to be handing in my notice. That's how imminent it is. And I'm becoming more intentional about money. I'm letting go of artwork. I'm making room. And I realized this isn't just decluttering or, making space so I can get more stuff. No, I'm untangling. And there's a difference because decluttering is what you do. It's what's about creating space in your home, right? Untangling is about creating space in your life. And sometimes that means, I don't know, a cupboard, it could mean a business, it could mean a belief, but sometimes it means an identity that no longer fits. Something needs untangling. What is it? So here's the question that I'd love to leave you with today, apart from what is it? Look around your home and just look with curiosity. What requires something of you? Because everything that takes up room requires something of you. So, what do you need to do with that thing? Are you over it and ignoring it? Have you finished loving it? Is it just there because it's always been there? What has given you everything it came to give you? Because whatever those things are, maybe it's time not to throw away, reject, or even give it to a thrift store necessarily. That's what you do with things that you really can't think of what to do with. But how about you thank it and then you let it continue its journey? Because here's what I believe: we don't honor beautiful things by keeping them forever. Sometimes we honor them by knowing when to let them go. And perhaps that's true for far more than possessions. Perhaps that's true of jobs, dreams, beliefs. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Sometimes relationships, visions of ourselves. So this week, I'm beginning what I think I'm going to call the great untangling, one thread at a time, one beautiful goodbye at a time, one little bit lighter, one little bit freer. And somehow that feels exactly right. So, if this conversation resonated with you, if it landed, I'd love to know, what's the one thing that you're ready to release? Not because you don't appreciate it or because someone told you to, but because you finished carrying it now. Come and tell me, because I have a feeling that a lot of us are making room. So until next time, stay curious, trust your own wisdom, and remember, you don't have to carry everything you've ever loved in order to honor the life you've lived. I really want you to think about that. And until next time on Witchy Ship by Design, I am your host, Michaela, and I hope you enjoyed this little conversation. Thank you for spending this time with me on Witchy Shit by Design. I'm Michaela Gaffin-Stone, and I hope today's conversation resonated with you. If it did, I'd love you to share it with someone who might appreciate it too. Also, if you're enjoying Witchy Shit by Design, a quick review is a beautiful way to help these conversations reach more people. Now, imagine what happens when the conversation is about you, because understanding yourself changes the way you experience everything else. Human design doesn't tell you who to become. It opens a doorway into the deeper conversation about who you've always been, beneath the stories you've been told, the expectations you've carried, all the ways you've learned to make yourself smaller so that you fit in. That's the conversation I love having. You'll find everything you need in the show notes when you're ready. Until next time, may you recognize what is truly yours, release what was never meant for you, and trust yourself enough to live the difference.